किसी को नहीं देगी श्री राधा कृष्ण को भी श्री जगन्नाथ और गोरी और गोरी श्री गुरु श्री गुरु Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 When you read, I will get to chapter 11, text 25. Okay.
Canto 11, Chapter 11, The Symptoms of Living Entities, Text 25. Sat-saṅga-labdhayā bhaktyā mayi upāsitā savai me darśitam sadbhir añjasā vindate padam sat-saṅga-labdhayā bhaktyā mayi upāsitā savai me darśitam sadbhir añjasā vindate padam
sat-saṅga-labdhayā bhaktyā mayi upāsitā savai me darśitam sadbhir añjasā vindate padam sat-saṅga-labdhayā bhaktyā mayi upāsitā savai me darśitam sadbhir añjasā vindate padam sat-saṅga-labdhayā bhaktyā mayi upāsitā savai me darśitam sadbhir añjasā vindate padam.
Mataji's.
mayi upāsitā savai me darśitam sadbhir añjasā vindate padam.
Sat of the devotees of the Lord, Sangha by the association, Labdhayā obtained, bhaktyā by devotion, mayi to me, mam of me, saha he, upāsitā worshipper, saha that very person, vai undoubtedly, me mayi, darśitam, revealed, sadbhir, by my pure devotees, añjasā, very easily, vindate, achieves, padam, my lotus feet, or my eternal abode. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. One who has obtained pure devotional service by association with my devotees always engages in worshipping me. Thus he very easily goes to my abode, which is revealed by my pure devotees. Please repeat. One who has obtained pure devotional service by association with my devotees always engages in worshipping me. Thus he very easily goes to my abode, which is revealed by my pure devotees. Purport. In the previous verses, Lord Kṛṣṇa has emphasized the value of surrendering to Him in loving service. One may ask how such surrender or devotion is actually achieved. The Lord gives the answer in this verse. One must live in a society of devotees, and thus automatically one will be engaged 24 hours a day in the various processes of devotional service, beginning with śravaṇam, kīrtanam, and smaraṇam, hearing, glorifying, and remembering the Lord. The pure devotees of the Lord can reveal the spiritual world by their transcendental sound vibration, making it possible for even a neophyte devotee to experience the Lord's abode. Being thus enlivened, the neophyte makes further progress and gradually becomes qualified to personally serve the personality of Godhead in the spiritual world. By constantly associating with devotees and learning from them about devotional service, one quickly achieves a deep attachment for the Lord and the Lord's service, and such attachment gradually matures into pure love of Godhead. Foolish persons say that the various mantras composed of names of God as well as all other mantras are merely material creations with no special value, and therefore any so-called mantra or mystic process will ultimately produce the same result. To refute such superficial thinking, the Lord here describes the science of going back home, back to Godhead. One should not accept the bad association of impersonalists who state that the holy name, form, qualities, and pastimes of the Lord are maya or illusion. Maya is actually an insignificant potency of the almighty personality of Godhead. And if one ignorantly tries to elevate illusion above the absolute truth, one will never experience love of Godhead and will be cast into deep forgetfulness of the Lord. One should not associate with those who are envious of the fortunate devotees who are going back to Godhead. Such envious persons derive the abode of the Lord, which is revealed by the pure devotees to those who have faith in the Lord's message. Envious persons create disturbances among people in general who take shelter of the faithful devotees of the Lord. Unless people hear from pure devotees, it is impossible for them to understand that there is a Supreme Personality of Godhead, eternally existing in His own abode, which is self-luminous, full of bliss and knowledge. In this verse, the importance of Sangha, association, is clearly explained.
Om Jnāntivedasya Jnānanjanasakya Chakshurudanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manavisham Bhaktamena Bhutale Vandeham Shri Guru
Shri Guru Vaishnavanscha Shrirupam sagrajatam sagadanaganathanvitam sajivam sadvaitam savadutam parijanasahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam
Shri Radha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dīnabandhu Jagapate
Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute
Taptakanta
Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavameshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye
Vanchakapatarvyacha
Kripāsindhubhyaeva Patitānaṁ pāvanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya
Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Hare
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
I'd like to welcome everyone to the Bhagavatam class. Sat-saṅga-labdhayā bhaktyā mayi upāsitā. Sarve me darśitam sadbhir añjasā vindate padam. So, Lord Kṛṣṇa is instructing Uddhava for the process of devotional service. And in this verse, Lord is explaining one important purpose, that one associates the devotee, he can engage, he can cultivate devotional service. This verse highlights the importance of sadhu-saṅga. If we read our scriptures, we see this point comes up again and again. Spiritual association. Associate with spiritualists, and avoid the association of children. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, this is a very famous word. Sadhu-saṅga, sadhu-saṅga, sadhu-saṅga. Avamata sadhu-saṅga. Krishna's Kaviraj states, even for a fraction of a second, you associate with an everyday devotee, your spiritual life can begin. The devotees are anxious to stay in devotee sangha. In Narada Muni explains in Dhruva Maharaj in the fourth canto. One can possibly have 3 levels of association. You can associate with those who are more advanced. Secondly, associate with those who are equally advanced. And third is, what is that? Associate with devotees who are less advanced. And how should one behave? Now the Buddha explains that if you have the opportunity to associate with somebody who is more advanced, you should become joyful. Why? Because you're going to receive knowledge of the process of pure devotion. Just like you may be suffering from some disease, but as soon as you associate with an expert doctor in that field, you feel relieved, feel he may have a cure. So if when you associate with somebody more advanced, you receive spiritual knowledge. And that's why one is joyful. He has the opportunity to associate with one who is more advanced. In the Bhagavatam, it is stated, just like when peacocks see clouds for the first time in the rainy season, they dance in ecstasy. Well, I can't tell you why. But in Bhagavatam gives us an example. But just like a peacock, when you see the clouds for the first time in the rainy season, they dance in ecstasy. And Bhagavatam says, similarly, if a devotee has the opportunity to associate with somebody more advanced, he's joyful. Because he's going to get transcendental knowledge. Then, the second level of association is associating with those who are equally advanced. How do we behave we have the opportunity to associate with those who are equally well. Well, what does one do? Make friendship. Friendship in spiritual life means we help each other to progress spiritually. We help each other to execute devotional love. Friendship in material life means we facilitate each other's sense enjoyment. And if you can't do that, then they end up in separation or divorce. But in spiritual life, friendship means we work together to spread the message of love. In the fourth canto, we read about Narada Muni instructing the Purport. And the Supreme Lord said, I'm very pleased by all of you. All of you have one main occupation. What's that? Devotional. The Lord was very pleased with the Purport because they all had one main occupation. That is devotional service. So, when you have the opportunity to be associated with those who are equally one, you make friendship. Friendship means we serve the Lord together. We go out preaching together. Execute service together. That is friendship. And real friendship is when you only have your colleagues on the path of devotion. And what happens? How do you behave? You associate with somebody, that's it wrong. What do? We display compassion. Compassion is one of the characteristics of a devotee. In third canto, devotee, that means one who defends the spiritual world. And she asked him, how can I become free from the entanglement of both of them? The son was very happy with the question. He responded by saying, devotion. And she wanted to know, how can I get this knowledge of devotion? And the Lord said, I shall. So, a devotee, para dukkha, seeing others in distress, he becomes distressed. So, when you have the opportunity to associate with those who are less advanced, you display compassion. Compassion on the spiritual path is exhibited by a Vaishnava. A Vaishnava is always compassion. A Vaishnava doesn't believe in tit for tat. He believes in compassion. And compassion means endeavoring to give spiritual knowledge. So, association is a must. And in the Chaitanya Charitamrita there is a sat-saṅga-labdhayā, give up the association of non-devotees. Now, you have to associate with devotees. You have to associate with non-devotees to be practical. Even when you go to preach, it's not that everyone you meet on the road is a Hare Krishna devotee. Most of them are critical, etc. We go out, we associate with non-devotees, only to the extent it is necessary, not beyond that. And we stay in devotee association, and we always be reminded about the importance of spiritual life. Prabhupada said, I have created this International Society of Krishna Consciousness to give everyone an opportunity to associate, engage in devotional service. In Prabhupada's example, we saw wherever he went, during association, people got purified. So, we should look for devotee association. So, devotee, when she inquired from her son, So how could she become free from the entanglement of birth and death? Sunset, by executing devotional service. Then she wanted to know, how do I get this knowledge of devotional service? How do I get this knowledge? And what did the son say? By associating with saintly people. So, saintly association is highly recommended. And in English is a proverb, a statement. A man is known and a company keeps. You recognize that person. You think what type of association he has. If he is interested in the spiritual path, he will associate with transcendental. If he is interested in Srila, a drunkard hangs around with other drunkards. A gambler associates with another gambler. Similarly, a transcendental associates with those who have the transcendental vision. Those who are also interested in cultivating spiritual life. Devotee was explained by her son, by associating with his son. And Lord Kṛṣṇa said, one should transfer the attachment we have for individual to get attached to a saintly person. So what does it mean getting attached to a saintly person? It actually means get attached to his instruction. Wapu and Mani. Wapu is a transcendental form. Mani is the instruction. And of the two, which is important? One. So, saintly person is recognized what he speaks, what he offers. So, devotee wants to know, how can I cultivate devotion? And she said, by sadhu-saṅga. Then in the Bhagavatam 3rd canto, there is a very beautiful person to describe about the importance of devotion, the importance of devotee association. How one can associate with devotees and cultivate spiritual life. By associating with devotees, we find it easier to execute devotion. For example, if you were all alone in Toronto, you would not be able to execute devotional service easily. But if you are in the association of devotees, like Kapila says, then it becomes easy to execute devotional service. So staying in the association of devotees is paramount. In the purport, Prabhupada is saying that those who are interested in spiritual life know the value of the holy name of the Lord. But there are those who have not taken, who do not take to the process of chanting. What do? They criticize and say, these names of God are not spiritual, they are material. As Prabhupada makes a point, that these names of God are completely spiritual. And how do you surrender to the Lord? And knowledge you get by devotee association. In the Purport, Prabhupada says, by devotee association, you can be inspired to follow the path of śravaṇam and kīrtanam. Śravaṇam and kīrtanam are most important for cultivating spiritual life. Prahlad's mother was carrying Prahlad in the womb, and the demigod came to drag her to the residence, with the intention that the child would be born, they would kill the child. Because they were thinking that the child is also going to be demon. Now the many appears on the scene and said, no, you won't be able to kill a child in the womb of this lady, a great sage. So Narada Muni instructed Narada Mother on the path of devotional service. So Prahlad was asked by his father that, describe to me, what is the best subject you learned in school? And what did he say? The śravaṇam and kīrtanam are the foundation for spiritual life. Śravaṇam and kīrtanam means hearing and chanting. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was on the tour of South India, and he met this great devotee, Ramananda Roy, and on the banks of the river Godavari. Before he started his trip, Bhattacharya had told the Mahaprabhu, when you go to the tour of Southern India, you're going to meet a great sage who can give you transcendental knowledge. So, Prahlad had heard the knowledge from Narada. So that is Prahlad's father. And Prahlad sat on his lap. And very lovingly said, Prahlad, describe to me all the subjects that you've studied. What is most important? And what did Prahlad say? He recited it. The ninth process of devotion. And when his father heard that, to the child of his lap. So devotee stays in devotee association because he knows that being in devotee association, I'm going to hear about the transcendental glories of God. So we should all be anxious to stay in devotee association. Prabhupada formed the International Society. For what purpose? To facilitate the six rasas. We will discuss the six rasas in next instruction. So, hearing and chanting is most important. Now, the materialists say, the impersonal materialists who maintain that these names of God are not spiritual, they're material. So here Prabhupada said, these names of God are purely spiritual. And because they're purely spiritual, you go chanting day and night. Don't get tired. You ever feel you've chanted the holy names, now you're tired, or you don't have to do? Does anyone feel like that? No. Because the holy name is transcendental. It is descending from the spiritual world. And you want the name of God. You will chant it day and night. You will not get tired. In the material world, nobody enjoys the work he's doing. For example, if we were enjoying, why would we look forward to holidays? Just like this is currently a long weekend in Canada. Where is everybody? Who can afford it? Get out on the beaches and everything. And country homes. Because they get tired of doing their work in office and they want to break. The children go to school. They get tired after some time. They want a holiday. The legal system all over the world gives you more holidays than any other profession. So, in material life, people don't enjoy what they're doing. And therefore they look forward to variety, change, etc. So, if you are in the association of devotees, then you will receive transcendental knowledge. There are scriptures, there are so many examples of how people got saved in devotee association. Now the Muni was passing through the forest when he saw half-million animals everywhere. But he said, who is this criminal was half killing these animals. And over the Krishna, the guy was a hunter. His family profession was hunting. And made his living this way. So Magari had hid himself behind the bushes when he saw Narada Muni coming. And when he heard Narada Muni saying, "Who is that criminal without killing these animals?" Magari came forward and said, "It is I. And this is my family profession." But Narada Muni's association, he got so purified that in future he would put his feet on the ground. He would make sure that there was no added there also. Regarding, initially said, if I stop the profession, how will I support my family? God used to kill animals and sell them. And he used to half kill them because he enjoyed it. And when he explained to him the simple reaction to the whole. So the hunter was so purified. Then later on, Narada Muni was passing by with Parvata Muni, and Narada Muni said, "Let me see, I'm a disciple here, how are you doing?" And when they were going, when they approached the guy's house, the guy was coming to greet his guru, and he was so careful that he would not even step forward. So this is an example that I've heard many times. But this example, it shows you how criminal can also be from. Srila Prabhupada went to the West. He brought the Vedic teaching as they were. He brought us first, the ship came to Boston. The captain of the ship, Prabhupada to see the city. And Prabhupada, when he saw how he addicted the science materialist world, he said, "You brought me here. I don't know who to take it." Prabhupada was also known as Kavi. Kavi means poet. Then he said, however, by Radharani's mercy, anything is possible. So, Prabhupada wrote this poem, and eventually, he wrote this poem. And he gave it association. So many examples of how there's a moment's association transforms people's life. Prabhupada had gone to the Soviet Union for 5 days on visa. At that time, Soviet Union was purely communistic and atheistic. Prabhupada went there, took heavy risk, and made one devotee, trained him as a devotee, who preached on behalf of Prabhupada and the movement spread forward. So, sadhu-saṅga. Sometimes we devotees don't value sadhu-saṅga. Sometimes we devotees think we indulge in fault finding. We indulge in fault finding, and we don't realize the importance of sadhu-saṅga. We should be eager to associate, and if we're not keen to associate with devotees, our spiritual life will be in danger. We should be keen to associate with devotees. So, in this verse, the Lord is saying that my devotees, by associating with devotees, engage in worshipping me. When you associate with devotees, you get inspired to execute devotional living. And thus very easy, Moksha my abode, which is revealed by pure devotee. Pure devotee is also an advanced devotee. In the śravaṇam, we hear about Guru Maharaj. Guru Maharaj had observed austerity. Why? Wanted a kingdom, more opulent than even the kingdom. So, Guru Maharaj, I don't know so many austerity. So the Lord said, Dhruva, I am pleased with you. For my pleasure, you have performed so many austerities. Please ask me for any benediction that you may desire. Any. And what did Dhruva say? Please give me the association of advanced devotees. Because if I am an advanced devotee, I will hear how making spiritual advancement. If I am in the company of advanced devotees, I will get spiritual knowledge. So, we will say, if you want to give me any benediction, please give me the benediction. I may stay with advanced devotees. Prahlad Maharaj also underwent all of this. The Lord said, Prahlad, my satisfaction, you underwent so many. Ask me for any benediction. What did Prahlad say? If you want to give me a benediction, please give me a benediction that all my material desires may get smashed. All my material desires may be crushed. That's what he asked. The devotee, if we ask for any benediction, the benediction is related to advancing on the spiritual path. Now, in the purport, Purport also talks about envious people. How the envious do not engage in devotional service. And the envious person, not just in form. Envy should be uprooted. Envy, because of envy, what do? Engage in false criticizing. And envy is detrimental to the spiritual development. In the Chaitanya we read the story of Srila who had one daughter, and the one daughter was married to Amogha, who was very envious of the Lord. Amogha would just be spying on the Lord to catch some wrong statement that he may have made. So, Srila had invited Lord Chaitanya for prasad. So Srila his wife, used to cook very fast. In 1 hour, cook 80 items, faster than microwave cooker. So, and Sarvabhaumacharya would stand at the gate where he didn't want his son-in-law to see what was being offered. So, one day, Sarvabhaumacharya had to leave the door to help his wife. And Amogha came in, saw all these 80 items on the table, and said, look at that false renunciate. Takes to sannyas, but eats more opulently than a real. So, Sarvabhaumacharya was so upset, they chased him away. A little later, Lord Chaitanya was asking Gopinath, how is Amogha? And Gopinath said, he's suffering from cholera, about to die. Lord Chaitanya went there, placed his hand on his chest, and said, as long as envy is there, Krishna will not reside. And then Moga got completely transformed. He fell at the feet of the Lord. That was it. The point is, envy is deep-rooted. Envy is one of these ananta. Kam, krodha, moha, mad, madhya. Envy, hatred. These are the ananta. So on the spiritual path, you also have this problem. Is that right? If you see someone performing very well, you become envious. If you see that somebody has something which you don't have, then we become envious. But envy should be avoided. It is spiritual envy where you try to be more than your colleague, but spiritual envy should be avoided. Envy comes because we are on a bodily platform. On a bodily platform, you don't recognize that our real goal is to engage in Him. And if we have these material desires, then we become envious. For example, if devotees go out to distribute books and there is transcendental competition, but this doesn't mean that we are envious or we are trying to pull them down. We should stay away from envy. And we can have spiritual envy. Spiritual envy means I try to do more than the other. So envy is one of the ananta. That's like greed, envy, hatred. They're all to be avoided. So we should not be envious. If you see that somebody has some quality or some ability we do not have, we don't have to be envious. The Lord has given everyone different abilities, and the Lord is pleased to be engaged in service according to our means and abilities. And if we keep envy, especially envy against brahmacharya, against you, it's very painful. So envy should be avoided. How can envy be avoided? When we have transcendental knowledge. If we cultivate transcendental knowledge, then envy can be overcome. So, Prabhupada says in the purport, envious persons create disturbances of the people in general. So, we should give up envy. These anathas, how can you overcome these anathas? Gopal Krishna says, in the first place, you will have a sincere desire in the heart. What's that desire? That I want to free myself from the anathas, engage in devotional service. So when the Lord sees that you have a genuine desire to cultivate spiritual life, what does the Lord do? He gives him the required association. Required association comes to us through two mediums. One is devotee gives you association. And the other is book Bhagavad. You have the devotee Bhagavad and the Granth. We have innumerable examples of those of Lord Kṛṣṇa consciousness are getting a book. So we should aspire for devotee association. And if we have genuine association, then what will happen? Then you will receive knowledge of how to make spiritual advancement. And it's known as the process of bhajana kriya. If the bhajana kriya is being followed, then there will be transcendental. So in our books, the Goswamis, they very clearly explain how one can advance spiritually. So the holy names of the Lord are not different from the Lord. And anybody who says the holy names are material, is offensive. The holy names of the Lord are descending from the spiritual world. And what does it do? The holy name cleanses the heart. It can be a practical experience. Just with this chanting process, so many people got transformed. So these names of the Lord are spiritual, and they're coming from the spiritual world. One thinks that these are just mundane names. They're very offensive. So, the holy names of the Lord are no different from the Lord. And the holy name, we chant it, anyone, at any time. No discrimination. It's like the clouds pour water, and the water, all the mountain tops, falls on fertile land, etc. So similarly, holy name can be chanted by anyone and get spiritual benefit. So, the Lord is telling us in this verse that my devotees obtain spiritual association, and with the spiritual association, they get attracted to the process of devotional service. And the holy names of the Lord always transcend. The holy name is coming from the spiritual world. Thakur Bhakti knows in his prayer, Jeev Jago says, Jeev Jago, Guru Chanda Bole, Utanita Jamaya Puja Chanda. Creation souls, please get up. And what do? Cultivate spiritual life. Begin with the chanting program. So the reality is, the holy names of the Lord are not from the Lord. And that's why we're able to chant day and night and not get tired. As I Thakur, you chant how many times? 300,000 times. So the holy name of the Lord, because it is descending from the spiritual world, you can chant and you won't get tired. And anyone who thinks the holy name is mundane, he doesn't do. So Lord Chaitanya, when he was on the tour of South India, he met a devotee Ramandar Roy. And Sarvabhauma Acharya and his wife of the Lord, when he goes to South India, he will meet his great devotee, Ramandar Roy, who was holding the position of a governor. So Ramandar Roy answered the question that were presented to the Lord. One question that Ramana Roy was asked, what is that song that one should always chant? And Ramana Roy said, one should chant that song that glorifies Radha and Krishna. And what is that song? Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna Mahamantra that glorifies Radha and Krishna. Another question he was asked, what is the greatest distress a devotee can feel? What is the most painful activity for a devotee? That's like, you go to a doctor, you say, I'm experiencing severe pain. So Lord Chaitanya said, what is that one activity which is most painful for a Vaishnava? And what did Ramana Roy say? Apart from separation from devotees of Krishna, no unbearable happens. So when you get separated from devotees of the Lord, what does that result in? Stress. Unbearable pain. Unbearable unhappiness. So Ramana Roy said, we should all go to the social with devotees. So most painful experience for a devotee is when he's separated from other devotees. And how does that happen? How do we get separated? We do Vaishnava Prayas. When we do Vaishnava Prayas against other Vaishnavas, what happens? You get separated from other devotees. You lose the opportunity to have devotee association. And then, once you're not a devotee association, then what happens? Then our spiritual life gets weak and weak. So we should be very careful of the devotional path. We avoid the path But if we do Vaishnava, then that has a negative effect. Śravaṇam Roy said, when you get separated from devotees of Krishna, that is the greatest pain for a Vaishnava. So our prayer should be, we may avoid the 10 offenses and cultivate spiritual life. And on the spiritual path, we want to make suggestions. There's a harm. But out of envy, we criticize. That should be avoided. So to summarize the verse, the Lord is explaining that due to association with devotees, they get to know knowledge or to approach me, the Supreme Lord. And devotees are anxious to associate with those who are more advanced. And by process of śravaṇam kīrtanam, what takes place? So we should be anxious to associate with those who are more advanced. We should be anxious to serve all Vaishnavas. We should be anxious to be servant of the servant of the servant. In material life, everybody wants to be the boss. But in spiritual life, we're anxious to serve. Even in something insignificant, but we are anxious to serve. And if we serve the Lord, follow the instructions of advanced devotee, then what happens? Then change the marginal, the heart will get clear. Sometimes devotees say, oh, I still have all these attachments. I've been chanting for so long. These attachments can be overcome by the power of bhakti, the power of pure bhakti. And if we do that, in the association of devotee, then devotional service becomes easier. And to execute devotional service becomes easier. So this principle of devotee association is mentioned in so many verses, which in every lecture we're talking about this. Because Vaishnava Prad is the stumbling block on the path of devotional service. Therefore, we recite these offenses every morning. These offenses are not just for new bhaktas, but for new and old bhaktas. We are reminding ourselves that as long as we have these offenses, we will not be able to make spiritual progress. And we should abstain from criticizing, like pulling, due to envy, we make critical statements. We should avoid this path. And then it will be easier to see spiritually. Hare Krishna. I wanted to leave some time for question and answer. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for the wonderful Bhagavatam session, Guru Maharaj. My question is that in this verse we talked about devotee association. Sometimes across different ISKCON centers, we do want to have devotee association, but the mood of devotional service is very different. That could be because of different circumstances, that could be because of different local authorities. So how should one serve in such situation?
Repeat your question again.
Maharaj, we see that across different ISKCON centers, there could be different mood of devotional service. That could be because of the local authorities, that could be because
I don't think that there is difference in the philosophy. Like there's no ISKCON center that will say, don't chant 16 rounds a day, or the philosophy is intact. You can go to Africa, you can go anywhere in the world. Always going to be teaching philosophy. What may vary is the emphasis. Someone may talk more about book distribution, someone may talk less. But ultimately, these instructions also are based on Prabhupada's instructions, which are the same for everyone. The mood may be different because we're all individuals. We all have our own lifestyle. So the basic instructions are the same. Chara Hare Krishna, Karapa Mangalati, study the books, be a servant of the servant. These are there everywhere. And if there is a certain, we see certain variety in mood, but basic instruction remains. The style may be different, they're all shooting for the same activity. Somebody maybe, sometimes somebody is very sweet, very humble, someone not so sweet. So there may be some little variety. But the principle, the basic philosophy is the same. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. Maharaj, you mentioned about envious or fault-finding nature. So how should we deal with the people who are envious of you or always trying to find a fault in you? Should we avoid them or should we be compassionate to them?
Tolerate the criticism. They're criticizing you all the time. Then, if they criticize you without any reason, then they have to take on the reaction also. And if somebody is engaged in fault-finding you, the first step, you can humbly approach them and tell them, Prabhu, you say like this, but the truth is like that. But if they persist in criticizing you, that's tolerate it. Because what is the other alternative? Tit for tat. Tit for tat will result in both the sides getting more aggressive. So better to take a humble position. And then, when there's something, somebody commits a mistake, you will take on the reaction. Nobody is karma free. So, whether it's a senior devotee or a junior devotee, nobody is karma free. So everyone has to be careful. I can't think, I'm a senior devotee. What do I say? I have to accept. So that's it.
Thank you.
Yeah. These chairs are really slippery.
Maharaj, you were saying that we have to behave differently with different devotees, more advanced, less advanced people. But the definition of Kanishta Adhikari is that he doesn't know who's advanced, who's not advanced. So how can you get to know the different devotees like this and how to deal with them?
How can you know who is more advanced? That's your question. Well, it's not easy to, it's not difficult to see who is more advanced. But if you're in doubt, then take the help of some other senior devotee. You can speak to him. And if somebody is advanced and you're not in fault finding, that's not good. And if you're in doubt whether this person is junior or more knowledgeable, take the help of another Vaishnava. But you can see by his talk, by the action, the advanced devotee, the only talking about Krishna, only trying to engage in devotional service. He doesn't come and talk about the stock market or sporting league. No. We see by our action and Vani as to I'm advanced or neophyte. More question? Yeah.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. In the purport it talks about by engaging the devotional service in the company of pure devotees, one becomes very quickly attached to the service of Krishna and Krishna himself. Maharaj, could you please describe the symptoms of one who is attached to Krishna and service?
Who is attached to?
who is attached to Krishna or service to Krishna.
Example, some devotee.
The symptoms of the person.
The symptom is he doesn't want to waste a minute. He doesn't want to indulge in prajalpa. He doesn't want to indulge in fault finding. He is only interested in talking about Krishna, talking about how to spread Krishna consciousness, how we can engage everyone in the symptom of an advanced devotee, he takes no interest in prajalpa. He doesn't waste a minute. He doesn't spend his time in idle activity.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, Gurudev, in the purport, Prabhupada emphasizes about ISKCON society of devotees and associating like 24 hours to make a progress. But those people like myself and many of people here who don't live in that temple atmosphere and they don't have 24 hours association, what about them? What is
Well, your point is, like you work, you're a doctor, you go to office. We don't have to associate with advanced devotees for 24 hours. If we follow their instructions and repeat it and practice it, that will give you the spiritual strength. If you're chanting around every day in the morning, that will give you the spiritual strength. You don't have to necessarily stay in advanced devotees for 24 hours. If we follow the instructions, and that will automatically give you strength. If we follow the instructions of the Acharya, like Prabhupada gave us some ground rules. If we follow those, then you'll automatically make spiritual advancement. There's so many letters that Prabhupada has written. If you follow the 4 regulated principles and chant 60 rounds, you'll definitely go back to Godhead. Lord Chaitanya made it very easy, and Prabhupada made it even easier.
Hare Krishna Mayi. In the lecture, I think you repeated like multiple times 2 points that holy name is spiritual, and when we keep chanting the holy name, we never feel tired. I think you repeated like 3 times this statement. How can we understand? Theoretically, we know that holy name is spiritual, but how can we understand practically that holy name is spiritual? And there's a
You experience it every day. You chant the holy name every day.
So my question was,
Okay. The microphone keeps slipping. Someone should hold on to the microphone, where it keeps slipping. So can somebody repeat that question?
so my question was, Guru Maharaj, how can we understand theoretically Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, the lectures of the Guru Maharaj, lecture of Srila Prabhupada and different spiritual masters, they keep emphasizing the one point, that holy name is spiritual. But how can I understand practically that holy name is spiritual?
You chant the holy name, and you can go on chanting, and don't get tired.
That's not the case.
And we have to have faith in the words of the scripture. The scriptures describe the scriptures have described the glories of the holy name. And we have experience, and we have the Acharya. But if somebody is completely on the material platform, and has no desire to accept that, then he will deny of potency, or he may just not accept it. But any sincere person who chants, will feel, they can go on chanting. Yeah.
If that
You can't take a material name, let's say $1 bill. You can't repeat it. The holy name of the Lord you can repeat day and night and not get tired.
Yes, you're right, Maharaj. But when you say that you chant the holy name day and night, you don't get tired. But the point is that I feel tired, so.
You may be physically tired, but the point is you won't feel. I've chanted the holy name so many times, I need a break. You never say, give me a break. The holy name, in fact, the nature of devotees, you can't stay without the holy name. The devotee, if he is deprived of the opportunity to chant, he gets frustrated.
Thank you so much.
When we got separated from devotees in COVID days, devotees were so unhappy.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. Thank you for the wonderful class. So when we distinguish between Kanishta, Madhyam and Uttamadhikari devotees, so by distinguishing between all three classes of devotees, if we somehow distinguish a devotee in a Kanishta or Madhyam Adhikari, wouldn't be that count as an aparad if we made a mistake?
If you thought that a senior devotee was junior, well, we don't have to go around praising everyone, but some of the advanced devotee, their symptoms are known to everyone. We don't necessarily have a rate everyone we see.
Guru Maharaj, you mentioned about Vapu and Vani association. Now in the age of internet, Vani association is available everywhere. So whom should we listen and whom should we not listen, Maharaj?
In terms of whose lectures you should listen, or anyone who is a bona fide representative of Prabhupada and who is preaching the philosophy as it is, you can listen. But anyone who is not in our parampara and not speaking exactly what Prabhupada said, you can avoid. We know who the staunchest devotees are, when devotees are not so ignorant.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Any more questions?
Thank you very much. Nowadays, and it's kind of related to Prabhu's question, devotees might feel they can just either read books or even see devotees online. But could you tell about the significance of physically associating with devotees?
No doubt that physical association is very needed also. But practically speaking, the Vani plays a bigger role. And that's what Acharyas have said. Because the physical form is temporary. When Vyasadeva gave us all these scriptures, so we had to get attached to Vani. We had to rely on the Vani. You can't, for example, have physical association all the time. Of course, these days, the days of technology, you can have videos. But Vani is more important than Vapu. Another question?
Yes, Maharaj, I guess I wanted to hear but how important it is. Vani is important, but...
Vani is more important. Prabhupada met his spiritual master at best 5 or 6 times. That's all. He took his Vani to heart and gave him the service. Prabhupada didn't. So she had the opportunity to associate with the Guru a lot. I want to say that himself. So, Vani, we didn't associate with Thakur Bhakti, but we have a Vani in the form of a book.
I think Guru Maharaj, what he means also the question is then do we need to come to the temple physically, or can we just attend the programs online because we get the Vani? Is that partly what you're asking? The physical association, do we need to come to the temple?
Maybe that's your question. That's your question.
They should come to the temple and take advantage of the physical association, because physical association is also limited. They should come to the temple. Prabhupada built these beautiful temples. Why? You create an environment where we could go and associate. Can you imagine if we didn't have all these temples, what life would have been? Now you go to worship any city, there's a temple. You go to the dham, there's a big temple. And Prabhupada's whole mood was to make these temples to create an environment where the followers of ISKCON would come in. Imagine if you didn't have Mayapur, Vrindavan, temple, how you would feel. Krishna empowered Prabhupada to do all these miracles just in a short time. And after Prabhupada's departure, we added more temples. Yeah.
Maharaj, about Vapu and Vani association. It is very difficult to bear the separation of the Vapu association. When we are with Guru Maharaj, it is so enlivening and so spiritually enriching, but we could not bear the separation from the devotees for long. So how to bear that separation pain? It's really difficult many times.
It may be difficult. It's a reality that you have to face up. Given the ISKCON movement, so many of our leaders have departed. But their followers are getting the association. And ISKCON is like a big joint family, which you have the father, the uncles, and the cousins all living in the same room. And everyone knows that Vapu is temporary. If something does happen to that, you worry. Yeah, let God brother take care. Get back to me, see. So many of our leaders have departed. But their disciples, all were still working enthusiastically. Because Prabhupada created such an environment by which we can associate.
Thank you.
Sometimes Maharaj, we do joke with devotees, not in a negative way, but in a positive way, to create a healthy, happy environment, and not on their backs, but in a group of devotees. Is that okay? Like if we joke around with devotees?
It depends what the content of the joke is.
In a healthy way, to so that everybody can laugh.
No, my point is, we have to know joking, the word joke is very broad. You will be specific. If in Krishna consciousness we don't joke too much. Serious. Okay, anymore? What was that?
To his question, what was your answer?
For the joke, the answer, she missed the answer.
He can restate his question.
So, Guru Maharaj, I was asking that if we joke around among devotees, not on their backs, but among devotees, and to create a happy mood, joyful mood, is that okay? And we are not offending the devotees.
No, if your intentions are good, if it's decent and encouraging, but devotees also smile, they also share jokes, but as long as it's not detrimental. If you look at Prabhupada's picture, he's always smiling. Okay, thank you very much.
My name is Gopal Krishna Goswami.